nutritionist, and today I have a capoeira based workout. So the workout begins with a warm-up. We'll do the workout itself, and we have cool down stretches when we're done. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, and if you'd like to help contribute, if you go to my channel page in the About, there is a link for donations. Before we begin, I have an inspirational phrase to share with you. It says, "Kind words are like honeycombs, sweet to the soul and healing to wounds." And I like this because anybody can say something nice. Sometimes, for some people, it takes practice, but it generally makes people feel better, and you have the power to touch them. You could change their mood, you could change their confidence, which can change their life. You just never know. Now, occasionally, sometimes you'll say something nice to someone and they'll think you're weird. And that's happened to me a lot of times. Like once I was in the store and there's this lady standing next to me and she smelled nice and I told her that and she looked at me strange and walked away. But for the most part, people like to hear kind words, and it helps people or it has a psychological effect. When you tell people their strengths, or you amplify their strengths, you compliment them, they believe it and they tend to pay greater attention to that and to try harder. Or an analogy would be more helpful to describe what I'm trying to tell you. If you have a boss and you're working, obviously in your working environment, and your boss says, you know, you do something very well, you will feel a sense of pride in your work and you'll try harder. And so that is a, I guess, logical reason to say nice things to people, but you should do it anyway. So with that being said, we can begin our workout. And the first thing we have is I will kick up, and this is going to stretch the legs and start warming up the upper body for some of the things we're going to be doing. So you're going to go to the floor like you're going to do a cartwheel and kick up. And we're going to do that for 8 times on each side. The next thing we have is a bottoms up squat. This is going to stretch out the hips, and with capoeira, this was generally, or it's usually thought of people that were enslaved doing capoeira. There's been many times in history where it was banned basically to know how to fight, and this has been in Brazil, in Asia, and so it's happened throughout the world. And with capoeira, people may have been tied up, and so it focuses a lot on acrobatics and lower body strength and kicks. So when doing capoeira, they're like, Ginga is what it's called. It's like a boxer's equivalent, or a boxer bounce equivalent, and you're going to be doing a lot of lower body work, a lot of squats basically, and that's why I've added the bottoms up squat, is to help with that. But sometimes you can end up doing a squat hundreds of times in a span of, you know, like 10 minutes. So yeah, definitely got to focus on training that area. So what we have is you're going to fold down to stretch your hamstrings, drop down, and then raise your bottom back up and come to standing. So do that for 5. Now we're ready to start our workout. So the first thing we have is we're going to do a few gingas and then an esquiva lateral. And if I say anything wrong, you're going to have to bear with me because it's not my language and I can barely speak English. So give me some grace. So we're going to do a Ginga and then a Skiva lateral, which is a way of dodging. So we're going to do that about 10 times. The next thing that we have is a lunge with a rear crescent to a cross block squat. So you're into your lunge, which is part of the Ginga, so it would have been done in this part here of the Ginga around, but we're extracting parts of capoeira to focus on them and to ideally help improve them. So you do your lunge, reverse crescent, cross block squat. And we're going to do that 10 times. Next, we have a tiptoe wheel, and this is added in because, as I mentioned earlier, capoeira has a lot of acrobatics, and so that would incorporate flexibility. And sometimes people use flexibility as sort of an advantage. Sometimes you're going to face someone stronger than you, more powerful than you. This is with any martial art, and you can rely on your strengths to kind of help overcome that. You don't always have to be the strongest, most powerful person to win a fight. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into your wheel and then come up to your tiptoes. When you're ready, come back up, and then we have another combination, which is going to be a Ginga with a lunge and a high kick. So go back to our Ginga and lunge and high kick. We're going to go through that 8 times. Next, we have a round kick from Ginga. This is our last thing before the cool down. So you're going to go back to your Ginga, come through, and a round kick. You'll be in the lower part of the movement, and we're going to do that a total of 10 times. little cool down stretches. So I'll travel to the floor. And the first thing we have is a figure 4. And it's going to stretch the hip. So you're going to bring your leg up like 4 and lean forward. This is a more intense version. And the reason I've picked it is because if you're doing capoeira, it's likely you have some flexibility, or a decent amount rather. If not, you can do this easier form. And we're going to hold. And then after a pause, switch. And then we're going to do a staff pose. So you're going to be in a seated fold, lean forward, and then rotate your hand back. And then switch when you're ready. And then that concludes our capoeira based workout. I hope you enjoyed it. Please check out more of my other videos on YouTube under Wellness by Elizabeth, and like, subscribe, and share.